Lying down. So we're going to start our practice today with a little reclining pigeon. So with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, cross your right ankle over your left knee and open that right knee out to the side so you have a nice little figure 4 in your legs. Then lift your left knee up towards your chest, and you can reach through your legs to pull your left knee in towards your chest. And if you notice that your right knee wants to fall in towards your shoulder, try and push that knee back away from you. So the more you can push your knee away, the more stretch you're going to get in that outer hip. But we're just starting to warm up here, just starting to loosen up a little bit. So you don't have to push yourself to your absolute maximum. You want to take it easy, be kind to your body as we're just starting to get into those tight hips. Then gently release your leg down to the floor and we'll change to the other side. So you can cross your left ankle over your right knee. Open that left knee out to the side as much as you can, and then draw your right knee up towards your chest. Take a hold of your right leg, pull it in as much as you can while keeping that left knee opening out towards the side. And just notice here a little observation if it feels different from one side to the other. You might notice a little more tightness on one side. That's pretty normal. We don't usually have, symmetrical tension. It kind of carries in different places in your body. So this is like doing an experiment or doing some research to find out where your tension is. And then with these great stretches and exercises, we can start to relax that tension. Now gently release your foot down to the floor. We're going to uncross your legs. Open both arms out to the sides. Then we're going to lower both knees over to the left. So you're going to let your hips come away from the floor as you twist in your spine. Let your gaze roll towards the right side so you have a full twist in your spine from the base of your spine at your pelvis all the way up through the top of your spine at your neck. So this is just a chance to kind of loosen up your low back and those attachments by the SI joint, where the sacrum comes in contact with your pelvis. And then we slowly roll through center and all the way over to the right side. Lower both knees and let your gaze fall towards the left. So now you have this nice twist in your spine from the bottom of your spine all the way to the top. And just allow your breath to help you soften into any places where you might be holding some tightness. Let it release breath by breath. And then we make our way back to the center. And go ahead and hug your knees in towards your chest, bringing your feet side by side, hugging everything in towards the middle. And then we're going to start to rock forward and back on your mat. So allow yourself to get a little momentum as you rock front and back, like when we were kids. You remember how playful and free you were in your body, just rocking and rolling front and back. And when you get some momentum, it's like a little massage on your spine. So you can just rock front and back a couple more times. And then we are going to come all the way up to a forward fold. So you can use your hands if you need to help you come all the way forward and fold over your legs. So take a moment here to really let your upper body fold so you completely release your upper body. You can always bend your knees. If you practice along with me, you know that it's okay by me. You can bend your knees as much as you need. You're still going to get that stretch in your hamstrings and the backs of your legs, and that's what we're really going for. So as long as you're getting that stretch, that's all you need to do. You don't need to push any deeper than that. Now we're going to work into those hips a bit more. So I want you to take your left foot away from the mat, step way back to the back edge of your mat so you have a big wide lunge. Start to melt your hips down towards the ground so you feel a big stretch at the front of your left hip. Lift your heart up, lift your spine up so you can feel your body growing long, and just sink down into your hips as much as you can here. All right, now plant your left hand flat on the mat. You're going to come onto the outside of your left foot and rotate your right toes 90 degrees open so you can see the placement of my feet here. All 10 toes are pointing towards the right side. Extend your right arm up towards the sky, and we're in a modified variation of side plank. But as you press your feet down into the floor, you can start to lift your hips up, and you're going to get a lot more stretch in that outer right hip. So really lift your hips up as high as you can to maximize that stretch here. Lengthen through your spine. And then we're going to come back to center. Bring both hands down to the mat. So you're going to come back to your lunge position and then lower your left knee down to the floor. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot, and we're going to start to lower down to lizard pose by bending your elbows and bringing your chest closer to the ground. So some of you may be able to come all the way down onto your forearms. So if that's you, you can really go deep into this stretch. And if you're not there today, it's no problem. Just go to that edge where you feel that nice stretch in your inner right hip. Lizard pose. For those of you that like a little extra challenge, you can play with lifting your back knee away from the ground, but that's purely optional, not something that you have to do to get a great stretch here. Now press yourself back up. We're going to move to Skandasana. So plant your left foot flat on the floor. You're going to walk your hands around and shift your weight into that left foot. Turn your toes out and flex your right foot. So you straighten that right knee and melt your hips towards the earth. You're going to get a big stretch in that inner right hip. So just breathe your breath and stay with it for a couple more minutes here. Well, not full minutes, a couple breaths. You've got it, all right? Hang in there with me. Now let's walk our hands back around to the front. So we come back to that lunge one more time. And then step your left foot forward, coming back to the top of your mat. Fold forward over your legs. So this is a nice place to rest and pause before we get ready to move to the other side. So now we're going to take that other side, step your right foot back to the back of your mat as far back as you can. Try to keep your right leg lifted as you melt into your hips. Lift up through your spine so you open your chest and sink your hips down. You're gonna feel that stretch at the front of your right hip. That's the good stuff. So we're opening it up. Now go ahead and plant your right hand down. We're coming to that modified side plank. So you're gonna turn your left toes open to the left and come onto the outside edge of your right foot. Now make sure that you really support that right ankle back there. It's not just kind of flopping. You really wanna use the strength of your back leg. So really fire it up, yeah? Strong legs. Then extend your left arm to the sky. Press down into the earth to lift your hips up. So you're getting a deeper stretch along the outside of that left hip. Feel your legs are strong, your arms are strong, even your core is strong. Your belly should be drawing up and in as you lengthen your spine. And then we return to center. Plant both hands down, turn your feet back onto your mat. And now you can lower your right knee down to the floor. All right, step your left hand inside your left leg, and we're coming to that lizard pose again. So if your hips are very tight, you might just practice bending your elbows a little bit. So for some of you, this is enough. It's all good, just do that. And little by little, you'll start to sink just a little lower each time. Maybe you can bring one forearm down until eventually both arms can come down. So it's no pressure. You don't have to do anything that's beyond your ability. Just take it one step at a time and work your way into these poses. And if it feels like impossible, that you'll never be able to get into these shapes, just be patient with yourself. Come back and practice again and keep up the good work, and you'll be surprised how quickly your body will start to open up and you can go and do some things you never thought would be possible. All right, so let's move into Skandasana, our last pose in this little sequence. Pressing yourself back up. Plant your right foot flat on the mat and walk your hands around to that right side. You're gonna rotate your foot, flex your left toes, melt your hips down. So you're gonna get that stretch in the inner left thigh. Take some deep breaths here. This is a pretty big stretch. Can be pretty intense. And now we shift back to the front. Walk your hands all the way around, coming back into your lunge. Then step your right foot forward. Come back to your forward fold one more time. Breathe your breath here. And let it release. And we have one more hip opener. This is like the mother of all hip openers. I saved this one for the very end for you guys. I knew you'd love it. So turn your heels in and your toes out 45 degrees. Then you're gonna start to bend your knees and sink your hips down towards the floor. We're coming into a squatting position. So this is a big hip opener for you guys. So if there's no way that you're gonna get down here, there's a few things you can do. You can separate your feet a little bit wider.